This is the N332 Driving in Spain podcast. Here's Mark Nolan with the latest.
Hello, it's Mark from N332 with your weekly road safety update, the N332 Driving in Spain podcast. This week we start with a tragedy on Scotland's notorious A9 and how Spain is responding with new van safety measures. We'll also hear about the loss of a cyclist in Cork and how Spain is tightening rules to protect vulnerable road users. Then a look at innovation in Rwanda, where World Championship cyclists will carry GPS trackers. And closer to home, we'll explore how Spanish companies are being asked to embed road safety into their corporate responsibility and how experts are shaping safer cities for the future. 2 people lost their lives in a van car collision on Scotland's A9. Sadly, this road is known for serious accidents, and here in Spain, vans are now in the spotlight as a growing risk. The DGT calls them a pending subject in road safety, pointing out that many crashes involve delivery drivers under pressure. Proposed changes include stricter checks, better driver training, and holding companies accountable for fleet safety. In Cork, Ireland, where I have some distant ancestry, incidentally, a woman in her 20s was killed after being struck by a truck while cycling through the city centre. These crashes often happen at junctions where large vehicles and cyclists compete for space. Spain is introducing new rules for two-wheeler users. The hope is that greater visibility and protection will reduce casualties and prevent similar tragedies. Technology is being deployed to save lives at the upcoming World Championships in Kigali, Rwanda. Every cyclist will now carry a GPS tracker. The move follows the tragic death of a rider last year who went undetected after a crash. With real-time data, rescuers can be dispatched immediately if someone stops suddenly or strays from the course. It's a reminder of how innovation can close dangerous gaps in safety, which reminds me, don't forget you will need a V16 emergency light, the connected version. From the end of the year, we spotted a special deal on Amazon this week, which is on Facebook if you need one. This week, the DGT signed agreements with major Spanish employers to make road safety part of corporate social responsibility. Companies are encouraged to train staff, assess vehicle fleets, and run safety campaigns. It's a recognition that businesses influence thousands of journeys every day, and their duty of care extends beyond the office to the road. Finally, on the news front, institutional and police experts gathered to debate how to make Spanish cities safer. The focus pedestrians, cyclists, and e-scooter users. Ideas included redesigning junctions, stricter enforcement of rules, and ensuring that growing mobility options don't come at the cost of safety. The DGT's message was clear. Mobility must be safe, sustainable, and inclusive. Now, back to our efforts and the articles you can find on the N332 website this coming week. The first is a vital message about road safety near schools. As we all know, the roads around schools are some of the busiest and most sensitive areas in any town, especially with pupils returning to class. It's crucial for everyone, parents, residents, and those just passing through, to exercise extra caution. In Spain, speed limits near schools are often lower, sometimes dropping to 20 kilometers per hour, and these must be respected at all times. During drop-off and pick-up times, which are high-risk moments, it's essential to park legally and safely to avoid endangering children. Double parking or blocking junctions is not only against the law, but puts young lives at risk. You'll often see local police outside schools during these times, and their instructions are absolute and must be followed immediately. This is a shared responsibility, and with patience and vigilance, we can all help to keep these areas safe. Secondly, we have a very important article about alcohol, drugs, and driving in Spain, because the message is a simple one. 0 is the only safe limit. While Spain already has much lower legal alcohol limits than countries like the UK, there's legislation in the works that could soon make the effective limit 0 for all drivers. These rules don't just apply to cars, They also cover bicycles, mopeds, and e-scooters. Even a small amount of alcohol or drugs can affect reaction times and judgment, and the DGT is very clear. Alcohol and drugs are a factor in 1 in 3 fatal collisions here in Spain. The Guardia Civil and local police conduct frequent roadside checks, and the penalties for a positive test are severe. The safest approach, whether you're a resident, a tourist, a professional driver, or a parent on the school run, is simply not to drink or take drugs if you're going to be driving. And finally, we're talking about staying visible as the days get shorter. With autumn arriving and daylight fading, our ability to be seen on the roads becomes even more critical. High visibility clothing and reflective accessories are no longer just a good idea, they're essential. A Danish study found that cyclists wearing high-vis jackets had a massive 47% reduction in injury-causing collisions. For pedestrians, research shows that reflective strips can make them visible to drivers up to 80% further away. It's not just about wearing bright colours. You have to consider things like backpacks that can obscure reflective material. We have tips for everyone from walkers and cyclists to e-scooter riders on how to ensure you stand out in low-light conditions. Just remember not to rely solely on a car's safety systems, and always try to make eye contact with drivers. We've linked to all 3 of these articles on our website, N332.es, where you can read them in full. And now for our motoring history section. Let's cast our minds back to this week in history. On September 26, 1900, Spain approved the Regulation for the Service of Cars by Road, which established the obligation for all vehicles to use number plates. Just over a month later, on October 31st, the first car in Spain, a French Clément quad, was registered in Mallorca with the plate PM1. So this week in history marks a pivotal moment in the legal framework for motoring in Spain. The regulation also helped to pave the way for a budding automotive industry that was starting to emerge, with brands like Hispano-Suiza, founded in 1898, and other foreign manufacturers like Ford and General Motors later setting up plants in the country. That's all for this week's podcast. From tragedies on the roads of Scotland and Ireland to innovations in Rwanda to Spain's renewed push for safer vehicles, workplaces and cities, every story underlines the same lesson. Road safety is everyone's responsibility, and every decision matters. Drive carefully, cycle wisely, and let's build safer journeys together. I hope you found it both interesting and helpful. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform so you don't miss an episode. You can also find all the articles we've discussed and more on our website. Just search for N332 if you don't have us bookmarked. Join me again next week for more news and updates. Until then, stay safe on the roads.
That was the N332 Driving in Spain podcast. Presented by Mark Nolan, my name is Lily, and I live in a valley. I am the lily of the valley. Although it is Silicon Valley, not the green pastures you might be thinking, because I am not allowed out of my box. If you want to know how we use AI in these productions, you can find out all about it on the website, n332.es. See you next time.